With the massive amount of non-Nintendo disasters lately, the PlayStations and the release of Balan Wonderworld, I am finding myself once again marveling at the double standards of the gaming community. The just the bizarre sort of double-facedness of these people, of the community in general. Like, it feels like any company that isn't Nintendo can do no wrong. I've said this like several times already, but like the industry in general, like YouTubers, gaming media, the general gaming audience has this extreme, gigantic hate boner against Nintendo. And as a result of that, will condemn and try to make fun of Nintendo for absolutely nothing. Like, we've seen this with, like, the release schedule of games like Bayonetta 3 and Metroid Prime 4, like, people constantly asking where those games are. You see people bitching about, like, the lack of releases for favorite franchises like Golden Sun, Chibi Robo, F-Zero, stuff like that. You see people constantly like mocking certain creators and executives. People like Iwata, people like Miyamoto. Ooh, yeah, Review Tech USA recently made a video just the other day. Recently made a video bitching about Iwata, calling him responsible for like the Wii's failures, which is just downright laughable, which is just downright wrong in respect. I found that like really disrespectful to Iwata-san's legacy. Iwata is the absolute man. I highly respect that guy. Consider him like one of my primary inspirations in my adult life. I really respect Iwata. I found that downright disgusting, Rich, you piece of shit. But the thing is, like, with all this weird sort of backlash towards like everything Nintendo does, like people constantly spreading myths about Miyamoto, his hatred of Donkey Kong Country, his refusal to allow real Paper Mario games to be made, like these weird conspiracies regarding like certain individuals, like the fact that it would be easy for a Nintendo fan to think that this is just the nature of online gaming discussions, right? This is just the reality of discussing like this hobby online. It's just a bunch of like overzealous spurgs, like obsessively, compulsively hating on stuff that they play and enjoy all the time. But more and more, I realize that's not the case, right? Because Yuji Naka, the creator of Balan Wonderworld, the guy behind like a classic era Sonic team, right? The guy who created the Sonic the Hedgehog character, right? That guy recently put out Balan Wonderworld, which is in all respects probably the worst 3D platformer I've ever seen in my life. Like, I've played like a lot of shit. Like, I've played like 3D licensed games. I've played like Crash Bandicoot. Like, I have like really high standards when it comes to platformers, right? Like, I've played like basically all the relevant ones, right? Like all the all-time greats, like the DK64s, the Super Mario 64s, the Banjo-Kazooies, the Conquer, stuff like that. I've played a lot of 3D platformers, and seeing Balan Wonderworld in action, a game released in 2021 that legitimately looks worse than I think a lot of PlayStation 1 and N64 games. Like, a game like filled to the brim with QTEs, horrid controls, like nasty environments, glitches, like bizarre design decisions, weird cinematography that you just have to laugh at. Like, Balan Wonderworld is like one of the most laughably terrible games I've seen in a very, very long time. And among people like myself, I think the consensus is very, very clear, is that like Yuji Naka has completely lost it. He has completely lost all of his credibility. He has put out not just a dud, but one of the worst games of all time. And I immediately said that when I played the demo. Like, this is pure shit. This is unacceptable. This thing should not have even been released. Like, this thing shouldn't have even been made. This should have been canceled. But, like, looking at NeoGAF, looking at, like, some of, like, the weird shilling on, like, Metacritic and stuff like that, like, seeing, like, certain discussion among certain gaming communities, I am seeing a lot of defenses for Yuji Naka. I'm seeing a lot of people like trying to blame Square Enix, trying to blame the fact that he doesn't have his whole team together, trying to blame the budget, trying to blame like modern technology, trying to like do anything they can to preserve Yuji Naka's legacy as a game creator. They don't give a fuck. They don't care that Yuji Naka put out an absolute shit. He's the creator of Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog is a great video game franchise. Never mind, it's been 30 years since he's been relevant in any way, shape, or form. Yuji Naka made Sonic. That makes him a good game creator, even if he hasn't made anything since. Even if he hasn't made anything really well received since Sonic Adventure 2. Did he work on 2? I'm not completely familiar with his game development history, but I am seeing this. Like we've had a lot of like really major game creators sort of fall out of the limelight in recent years. Like Kojima, we've had like I think Kamiya is starting to become unpopular. Naka put out this. Inafune is an example. You're having all of these people like who worked on these classic franchises like leaving and coming back and trying to make a new game and failing, and you're not really seeing the same kind of backlash that you get during Nintendo for Nintendo. Like for what Nintendo does a lot less of, right? Like even today, you'll see a lot of people like call Star Fox Zero one of the greatest failures of all time. For one, that game was great, and two, it wasn't even that big. You know, like it's like people just exaggerate, like just down. They exaggerate Nintendo's failures and like just downplay like the failures of everyone else. Like it's remarkable. Like the only creator I think that's kind of like fallen out of favor in the gaming sphere is like Tomonobu Itagaki, which is kind of surprising. I think a big reason for that was the fact that he worked on a Nintendo exclusive. Like that's Devil's Third. It's bizarre. Like seeing the gaming community like turn into this like cesspool of just delusional fuckwits who are more interested in preserving the legacy of Sonic the Hedgehog and Sega than actually enjoying new video games. Like they'll do anything they possibly can to like condemn Nintendo, hate Nintendo, shit on Nintendo, but don't you dare talk about Yuji Naka. Don't you dare talk about Yu Suzuki. Don't you dare talk about Shenmue 3. Don't you dare talk about The Last Guardian. Don't you dare talk about Death Stranding. We're talking about Star Fox Zero and how Miyamoto fucked it all up with Wii U motion controls. It's just... It's downright delusional. It's pathetic. It's asinine. It needs to be addressed. It needs to be condemned. These people like Review Tech USA, are not gamers. They're not gaming enthusiasts. They are fundamentally just crazy, out of touch people who have emotionally invest themselves in the careers of game creators. Like it's baffling. It's ridiculous. It is pathetic. If you are defending Balan Wonderworld right now, you are a piece of shit and need to be condemned.